Hey folks, how's it going? This is Ush back on our video. I said I'd just give you some quick initial reactions to and a bit of a review to Thanksgiving, the new Eli Roths movie. So I went to see it last night, and I would say overall it's a good movie. It's good, it's decent, but not perfect, and decent but not great. I would say overall. So just to suppose set the context a bit. First of all, Thanksgiving is something we don't have over here in Ireland, or I don't think anywhere in Europe. It's obviously an American holiday. But we do have Black Friday here, which is kind of bleeding into Europe, if you'll excuse the pun, and into kind of worldwide culture, the Black Friday sales. I know I found out subsequently, this was originally a kind of a fake trailer in another movie that Eli Roth had done. So it didn't exist at that time many years ago. I didn't know any of this context, but just yeah, interesting to know. But all I found out was that it was a new slasher movie. It was by Eli Roth and it was based around the Thanksgiving holiday that's in America. So yeah, that's really just it. So I suppose the things that are good about it, I really did like about it. I liked the origin of the killer. Like the movie opens with this I suppose consumer madness, that we would typically see this American big mart. There's a Black Friday sale, people are killing each other, and it's just wild. Like they're just to get, these useless bargains. It goes to the craziest degree, like where there's a guy whose throat is slit on the way in, and he's still trying to get a free waffle iron, just crazy stuff like that. But it was an interesting premise, and it's good because it kind of it hits you really hard in that opening. It's like, wow, this is crazy, and really, interesting, and could you nearly think that could be a movie in its own right. That's that dramatic opening, but so that was really well done. I liked that. I liked also the very initial kind of opening with the breathing. It kind of had hints of Halloween and classic horrors like that. Um, I love the setting of this Plymouth in Massachusetts. I love New England. I think it's got that kind of spooky feel, especially that time of year. Really like the look of the killer. Actually, funny enough, it is minimalist in a way. It's kind of all black, the costume, but I like that mask. I like that pilgrim hat, and I like that axe. And it's kind of like, I suppose, got hints of the Burger King thing with the beard and stuff like that, but overall, really cool look. I like it, and I have to say. I think with the setting also, I think they could have probably leaned more into that with some of the accents of the characters. I'll talk about a little bit about more about the characters and stuff like that as the review goes on. But I thought they could have made it a bit more specific because it felt like a New England movie, and I think that would have worked well. So yeah, like the setting. The opening, yeah, had it not, obviously it felt like it had hints of Saw. It also like late stage Friday the 13th movies as well. I felt like it had real hints of that. The kills were they're over the top, but not mean spirited, kind of comical really in that kind of way, a bit jokey. Although Saw is not like that, but it is very over the top. But the kind of major influence you'll see here will be Scream, I would say, because it is a whodunit movie at the end of the day. It's got it's quite polished looking as well. It's very that modern kind of, I suppose postmodern is more gritty now, but it's very clean looking. It's very, obviously the technology is featured. All the characters have phones, they're streaming. There's these kind of elements that are in a lot of modern slashers, but they do play on that and it works pretty well. It's hard to make people scared because they're not as isolated. So, but they do play on that. There's scenes where a woman, she can't unlock her phone with her fingerprints because her fingers have been injured, and her face as well, so it doesn't recognize her face for the face unlock. So that, yeah, those are kind of some of the really kind of cool elements of it. The other thing I would say is then on to some of the things, I suppose, that I didn't like so much. One thing I will say is, while the kills were they were good, I suppose, and they were gory and all that kind of stuff and fairly inventive, I didn't. Some of the effects I didn't think were great. Some did look good. Some of the, like the woman's cooked corpse and stuff like that, that kind of looked genuine and quite good. But then some of the practical effects, and I hate CG effects, or too many computer generated effects in a lot of modern horror stuff. Especially when it's used unnecessarily, when you could have just done that practically. And I know it's probably more costly or whatever. The actors don't want to do it, but I thought that, like, even simple things like in the opening, I thought the guy's broken arm, it looked really like a dummy, didn't look like a real broken arm. There's things like that. The other thing I'll say is, in the problems majorly with the movie are in the writing and the characters. The characters are really forgettable, like pretty terrible, to be honest. Their acting isn't good either, I'll be honest. The only kind of noteworthy acting was probably like that the waitress with that leaned in Boston accent that they should have, I thought, used throughout the characters. Maybe made it more of a regional type film. I think that would have been more interesting than kind of generic, I don't know, Hollywood accents. And then very forgettable, yeah, characters. Like, I can't even remember nearly any of their names. The one guy, I will say, Patrick Dempsey, was the cop, was good. He seemed like a bit more, there was a bit more depth to his character and to his acting. The rest of them, not so much. So yeah, the other problem with the characters is, as well, and I know this was a whodunit, there was way too many characters. There was what seemed like pointless characters as well. I know you try and throw in red herrings, but there was just so many here that you didn't have enough on-screen time with the people who we were supposed to care about or who were supposed to matter. So there was like that guy McCarthy who was selling the guns, the little small guy who was doing the guy's presentations and writing them for him, and then kind of fucked them over. You know, I just thought it was totally pointless. I didn't get it. Even the guy McCarthy's dad is in one or two scenes there, and he's like, this is the ring from Iraq. My dad gave, like, just felt really kind of out of place, you know, and too much stuff, like, so that could have been really trimmed down, I felt like. I'll just add in as well here, just spoilers is at this point, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled for you, you can just move away from the video here. So obviously the killer turns out to be the cop, I didn't like that. I thought it was way too obvious. Again, I think I've seen other people say that it was so obvious, you would think, you had to assume it was a red herring because it's so on the nose. It's so, like, the way he talks, the way everything is done. So I was really hoping it wasn't that obvious, and it was. So that was pretty disappointing there. But also his motive was stupid, like really, really awful. I thought the motive of it, he just chucked this thing in at the end where, oh, he was actually having an affair with that. The woman looks in her 70s. I don't know what age that actress is, but she looks way too old to even get pregnant, to be honest. So that was kind of it just felt like shoved in. Just really, it was kind of nearly reminded me of the original Friday the 13th, where, it's a whodunit, but the actual character who is the killer turns up within the last couple of minutes. It's like, oh yeah, there, the whodunit thing doesn't really work there. So I thought that was dumb. I thought also the hints, like some of the stuff was kind of silly as well. Like when at the very end, when she notices the pollen on his boot, and that's supposed to be some big, oh, it's a gotcha. Oh, look at the pollen on. Like, come on, like nobody notices that. Like, I don't think she would have noticed that. I know it's supposed to be on her jeans and blah blah. And he's like, look for the hints. I'm like, come on. It could have been any. It looked like paint flecks or something to me in the cinema. I was like, that's like, I don't know. That was just, yeah, and strange, and didn't really work for me. And then, of course, I suppose the ending, it was it just felt a little bit rushed, but I don't have a huge issue with it. But obviously it was his body was never found, so it's clearly pointing for possibly a sequel. So overall, listen, it's somewhat entertaining, it had good points. Again, there was some nice set pieces there. So it was well directed in parts, but the writing, and some parts just was a bit all over the place. But definitely felt well directed at the very least, and some nice shots, nicely shot with some nice overheads and some nice moody kind of camera pans and stuff. So I'd say definitely worth checking out, and it could be one for the future where maybe they'll add in they'll do sequels, and it could be like a type Scream type franchise or something like that, because I do like the look of the killer, and it's an interesting thing on the tropes of that particular American holiday. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this review anyway, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.